So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
doing this, Marta.
Yeah, happy.
Yeah, so basically, today, like for the newsletter for
Yeah.
today, I wanted to, create this article with you about how is it moving to San Francisco as a first-time founder,
Yeah.
and why should you move here if you are a founder building a startup, and basically like the tips and hassles of doing it. So if you can like let us know a little bit about your story and what you're building.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm the founder of Ting AI. Ting AI is a software to help sales reps close deals faster. So basically, we take care of all of the operational tasks that sales reps have to carry out every day, such as filling in the CRM, writing follow-up emails after the call, preparing for calls. We take care of that, and we use the transcription from the video calls, from the meetings that they have, to do it with AI. So our software takes care of that, and yeah, so we moved to San Francisco like a couple of months ago. Um, I first came here in April, in May. Okay, anyway, last year. I came here, yeah, a few months ago, and I explored the city. Like, I checked out the ecosystem. I was working for a Y Combinator company before.
All right.
So I always knew that when I started my company, I had to come here before starting, like, or at the very beginning, to check out the ecosystem, learn about the city, and like immerse myself into the a little bit into the culture or into the ecosystem as much as I could. So that's what I did. Like, when we were starting Ting and it was like for real, I came here, checked the ecosystem out, and yeah, so decided to move here 2 months ago. I will tell you more about the reasons later. And so far, very happy. Like, we're a global company, so our customers are mostly based in Spain and Latin America. So not necessarily American, North American market yet. We are trying to figure out how to penetrate this market right now. Um, but yeah, I think it makes sense because of our focus to be based here.
Why did you decide on starting a startup? Like, what moved you to do that?
Yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Like, although this is, I guess, yeah, it's my first formal, well, not my first project because I started another company before, but I've been starting things since I was a kid. Like, I started a brand as a kid, like a sweater brand that became popular, and I got it in stores in Barcelona. Then I worked, yeah, for 2 years in a venture capital firm, starting companies and like one after the other and launching them. I worked. I started my company Be Chained that with with someone from ESADE, my university, and we actually participated in Techstars, which is an American accelerator. So I've been starting stuff my whole life. Obviously, I also worked for startups. I worked for Hawkers in Spain. I worked for Nowports, which is a Y Combinator unicorn. So I've been working in tech my whole life, and even though I was not always the CEO or the founder, I was always in entrepreneurial roles, like in roles that entail a lot of like starting from scratch and starting things. So I was really, really looking forward to starting my own thing. Like, I had been my whole life like learning from others, learning from people I admired, and I felt, I guess, in my last company, I felt like it's the moment. I found the idea. I found, I clicked with the business that I wanted to start, and I felt prepared. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about, what stage are you are
Yeah.
now with Ting?
Yeah, it's very, very recent. So um, I started in March. It's true that I was working in revenue operations, so I had been interviewing and like validating the business in my previous company. But I formally decided, like, I'm quitting my job and I'm going full on with this project in March. Um, and yeah, together with my business partner Felix. So we both committed to the project in March. We launched in early June, and we have been on the project since early June, growing it and acquiring customers. And we decided to move here. Well, we moved here like, yeah, end of July. So,
Okay.
so it's very recent. Yeah.
How do you find your co-founder?
Oh, this is a very viral story. I explain this in every podcast. No, but so I'm a big fan of podcast The Ethnic, which I don't know if you know them, but
Yeah.
it's like a very wide, like worldwide known tech podcast for Spanish startups or Latin American startups. I was desperately looking for a co-founder because I knew I had the best idea, and I wanted like the best co-founder. No, I'm not technical, so I needed like a technical co-founder, and I had done like everything you can imagine for outbound reach out, like reaching out on LinkedIn for people that I thought could be interesting. Y Combinator co-founder match. It's like a
Yeah, I know.
platform, you know. There, I asked for referrals, asked for friends. Like I did everything in outbound, and I was like, okay, Marta, like you're an entrepreneur. Like you have to think another method because I couldn't find the right fit. Right, I met a lot of great people, but I couldn't really. So I said, okay, let's try inbound. So I'll just go to places where engineers hang out and pitch myself. Briefly pitch my idea, but mainly pitch myself, and try for that to be viral so that I can get the interest inbound. No, so I went to El Podcast de Ethnic to a live session, and I asked a question like, I'm looking for a co-founder, and I tried all of these ways, and I cannot find the right fit. What's your advice? And it was like the question that was asking for a follow-up question. So they were like, okay, yeah, but who are you? What's your idea? So I managed to pitch myself, and that went viral. Like it was live streamed, and that night I got like 50
No way.
50 engineers to message me, like amazing talent, like CTOs from different unicorns, and
No way.
yeah. So it was amazing, and it was great because it was already people looking to start something. They clicked with the idea, with my like short elevator pitch. They like me, and then I found Felix, which
That is
it's
an
my
amazing story.
Yeah.
A lot of founders and entrepreneurs can learn a lot from this story because it's always a pain. Like it's more of a pain when you're not technical. Like I also struggled with this problem when I was an entrepreneur. So it's a really cool story. And so, at what point did you? Felix is from Spain as well.
Yeah, he's from Spain. So we both had. So he was also he had been working for 12 years for an American company. So we both knew the American ecosystem pretty well. But yeah, he's from Spain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so at what point did you guys decide to?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pack and move to San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this from the very beginning, but it was never like a thing. But we had it in the back of our mind, so we were already like. So I made the trip as soon as we started. I made the trip here.
Okay.
Like I started meeting people, asking like, how did you guys get here? What visas do you need? Everything. So it was there, but we didn't want to generate expectations because it's so hard to get the visa to be able to move here. But really, when we decided, I think there was like two factors that made us say, okay, we're gonna do it. One is like seeing when we launched, we were not expecting like the amount of users that signed up and started using Ting, and we were not expecting them to be from outside of Spain. So that was one, like realizing that maybe we were building a global company, and I guess it made sense to be here. And the second one was the visa. Like I managed to get a visa, so yeah.
That's really cool.
So
And so you've been here for 6 months, more or less, or more?
no, in San Francisco, no.
Yeah.
A lot less. Like I arrived late July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So very little. It's true that I was here like at the beginning of the year, like exploring the ecosystem.
Right.
But then I went back to Spain, and I only came here with a visa.
Okay, so it's been what, 2-3 months?
No, end of July,
And then,
August and September.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So
Yeah.
what is the experience so far? Like,
Yeah.
what are the main challenges that
Yeah.
you've found?
Okay, one thing that has like changed my perspective completely is what is considered a successful. I guess because I'm still in the ideas. I mean, not in the idea stage because I think we have already passed the pre-seed stage. We are, I guess, in like the seed stage. But one thing that I see a lot in Spain is that the best seed founders are building something that is probably a copycat from the US, and they are probably the team is probably a combination of people with a lot of experience in that, right? You're a VC, so you can tell me if you agree with this, but I think this is more or less. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of different type
Yeah.
of companies, right? But yeah, of course, like we do look at people that has a lot of experience in a field because they already have that know
Yeah.
how to build a product or to
Yeah.
sell a product, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's a competitive, like we see it as a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the European standard, because of this, a lot of the founders that successfully raise big rounds and everything, it's older people.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And the idea doesn't matter that much. It's more about the team, I guess, and also about how much revenue, if you're already making revenue or not. Like coming here to SF completely changed my perspective. I was obviously thinking with the Spanish mindset, and when I pitched myself, I was telling all of these things that people care about. And here it's completely different. Like one thing that they care about, so there's two things that they care about a lot. One is like the 10x rule, which is like like being able to explain how your idea is 10x better than the status quo.
Okay.
So it's absolutely about something novel and something disruptive, something that in Spain doesn't really matter because I guess we expect the Americans to do that. But here it's about that. And the second one is very connected to that. It's like your unique insight, which I never heard about something. I don't know if you ever heard about the
Yeah.
unique insight, but it's like, what did you find out that no one else has realized? Yeah, so that's basically it. And that really blew my mind because, I mean, no, not blew my mind, but it's obliged us to think differently about our company. Like, we don't just need to grow like, it's not that successful to grow your users or grow in revenue. Like, no one really cares about that much in the stage we're at. They care about like what's your unique insight and how are you generating 10x.
That's
10x value.
super interesting.
So-
Super interesting.
So yeah, and then another thing I realized is that they don't really care about the field you're in. Like, they don't care if you're not experienced in that field. I realized that people here care about how well suited are you to hack that field. Maybe in terms of skills, like if you're doing AI, well, so maybe you're very good at prompting or something like that. But also in a way that in Spain maybe we would consider doing illegal stuff, like I don't know. So like how good of a hacker, but not hacker in the sense of like computer hacking, but system hacking. How much you don't care about your reputation, how much you don't care about, yeah, like, so it's a lot about that, and it's really changed my perspective, and I think it's helping us a lot.
Yeah, those are like super valuable insights,
Yeah.
and if you learn that in just 1 month, like
Yeah.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? You know, living in San Francisco is different from living in another part of the world, with regards obviously
As a founder.
yeah,
With the what, sorry?
with regards to being like an entrepreneur, yeah, like a founder.
I think it's funny because you were saying, oh, you learn so much in just like a month, no? And I think it's because like life happens like 10x faster also here. Like there's so much going on. Like there's 6 startup events you can go to every day.
Every day, every week.
Every day, every week. There's a congress every day, every week. Like, for example, we are meeting here today because it's SaaSter, so it's like the SaaS conference. Next week is Dreamforce. For us, it's very relevant because we are in the revenue space. The next week is San Francisco Tech Week. The next week is LA Tech Week. The next week is TechCrunch Disrupt. So every week there's a congress, and on top of that, every week there's like at least 6 events going on, like aside from the conference. So there's just so much. So I think that's one thing, like the speed. Yeah. So I think I could say many things, but the other one is the perspective. Like, depends what you're building. It's more convenient. If you're building something very disruptive, probably it's better for you to be here. If you're very young, probably it's better for you to be here. There's a lot more VCs for everything. Like, I feel like in Spain, if you want to start something, you have to see, okay, what are VCs investing in, and I'm gonna do something that they like. Here, you can build any kind of business. There's probably gonna be a market, and there's gonna be investment for you because there's like a lot of everything.
Have you interacted with a lot of VCs since you came here? Like, do you feel like it's easy to access them and get meetings?
So we're a fully bootstrapped business, and we want to stay like that for a little bit. So not really like intentionally, like I haven't. Non-intentionally, every day. Like, you see, VCs are everywhere. Everyone is a VC also. Like, so yeah, no.
Okay, that's super interesting. You're a bootstrap business, and you want to stay for for a while. Why is that?
Yeah. First, because we can. So I think that's the first thing. Like, if you can be bootstrapped, why raise? Like, for me, starting this company I have been planning this like since I was a child, So I can afford it because I planned for this, and I am living that plan that I already saved for and everything. So I guess that's one. If you can afford not raising, then why raising? Second, because it's forcing us to build a certain way. So, like I was just telling you before, for example, we don't do outbound, but because we cannot afford doing outbound. Like, my time is limited. I cannot spend my time doing outbound, so I had to build inbound. And maybe if I had raised, I would have a few reps in the company already selling for me. And it's more inefficient and it's a waste of money, So it's forcing us to think a certain way, and I really like that. And I think it's great. And it allows you to be very, like, when you are actually gonna scale your business, you are so ready for that because, like, you have been able to. Sometimes when you raise, you have to build in one direction, and you're not able to pivot. Like, it's too late. You don't want to do a down round afterwards. You already spend your money. Bootstrapping allows you to, like, have enough time to understand the market, be super sure about what you're building, understand what tools work, and then you raise when you are 100% certain about your product market fit,
Yeah, absolutely, makes sense. And so you're having to come up with a lot of crazy strategies to get inbound. And you were telling me before that, okay, next week is Dreamforce, you're going to be there. What are you planning to do there?
Yeah, I do a lot of random stuff, like, like, for example, stuff that actually people love in San Francisco. I don't know who your listeners, where are they based, but here this stuff is pretty normal. I'm going to Dreamforce, and the goal of Dreamforce is getting people, getting conversations with people that could be potential customers. So I'm just going there with a sign that is catchy for people, and that is like a conversation starter. So this is like probably something that no one that has raised would do, but for us it's like a very efficient way to get like customers. It's the Dreamforce is like the Salesforce conference, the biggest Salesforce conference in the year. It's in San Francisco, so it's like a very relevant one. And there's everyone that goes there is in sales. So
it's your target.
It's an easy hack. Like, in one day you hold a sign and maybe you can have 200 conversations.
That's really good. maybe Salesforce is a little bit pissed
Yeah.
with you.
But it's something that like no SDR has 200 relevant conversations in a day, no? So it's like
Absolutely.
a very effective way, a hack that works in real life, and it's also very viral. Like when you post about this kind of hacks,
Absolutely.
LinkedIn loves this kind of thing, and it's viral, so you get a lot of inbound.
Yeah.
So
So super cool. So just to wrap it up, like for founders that are thinking, hey, I would like to move to San Francisco, like I want to raise money, become a global company. What steps would you tell them to follow?
I think that there is really no steps. Like if you want to ask me more specific questions, I'm happy to answer. But at least for me, it was like out of passion. Like it meant so much. Like both my co-founder and I, both of us have like partners, like stable partners. My co-founder has a baby. Like we are. It's not like the time of your life to leave everything, quit your job, and move here. Like there, like a lot. We had to change a lot. You know, our partners had to sacrifice a lot as well. Shout out to my partner Jose.
Did they move
But yeah,
in here?
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's very crazy, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's not like here are the steps, because
Right.
everyone thinks like you guys are out of your mind. Like this is not the time of
What
life to
what are
do it.
your partner, like the partners do, like your partner and his partner doing? Like do they
Yeah.
work in startups, or like are they
No,
building
man.
businesses, or
My partner, he was doing his MBA,
okay?
and I was like, man, sorry, we have to go to San Francisco. Like this is, it's now.
That's awesome.
And so he managed to like when I told him that, I told him, we realized that the only way for him to do that was doing his second year of the MBA in an American school. He found that the school he was doing his MBA at had a partnership with that other school,
That's really good.
so he managed to get like good enough grades just for me, because this was like his holiday year, the MBA. He worked very hard just to get that partnership, and he's finishing the MBA at Berkeley. So
Okay.
so yeah,
And that's why you
that's
live
why
in
I
Berkeley.
live in Berkeley. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I
So-
wanted to ask you also,
Yeah.
like, how do you find a place to live here? Because obviously everything is super
Man,
expensive.
this is why I tell you there's no list of things you have to do, because we are sacrificing so much. Like we bought an apartment in Spain, in Barcelona, and we are now living like in a house with more people.
Wow.
Like housing is so expensive here, so we have like a little room for ourselves, but sharing it because everything is super expensive. So like I'm just telling you because it's not like maybe it seems beautiful and
yeah.
stuff, but we are sacrificing so much because we really want to be here. And yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
All right, Marta, and thank you so much for the chat.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and lots of luck with
Thank
the
you.
startup. I think you're gonna crush it.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you. Yeah, and great to thank you for inviting me, and best of luck with this podcast.
Thank